All right, let's talk about Hansel and Gretel. And I mean really talk about it. We all think we know the story, right? The breadcrumbs, the gingerbread house. But what if I told you it's not just a fairy tale? Think of it more like a survival manual, a raw case study on what happens when you're pushed to the absolute edge and the incredible cleverness that comes out when you have literally no other choice. So what happens when all hope is gone? I mean, really gone. That question, it's the engine of this whole story. It's behind every choice, every terrifying moment, and every single act of courage. And for Hansel and Gretel, the answer to that question starts right at home, in a place where desperation is already setting in. Okay, first up, the dangerous plan. You know, in any survival situation, lesson number one is to figure out where the threat is coming from. But here's the twist. For these kids, the biggest danger isn't some beast in the forest. Nope, it's coming from inside the house. So let's set the scene. This is the core dilemma. On one side, you've got the father. He's a good guy, a hard worker, but, well, he's weak. He's just paralyzed by how bad things have gotten. And on the other side, the stepmother. She is not sentimental. She's driven by a cold, hard, terrifying logic. We're starving, and we have to survive no matter the cost. And it's that clash, right there, that pushes Hansel and Gretel out the door.
Just listen to that. If the children stay here, we will all starve. Imagine being a kid and overhearing that. This isn't some family trip they're planning. It's basically a death sentence disguised as a walk in the woods. And just like that, their fight for survival has officially begun.
Which brings us to our next part, lost in the forest. So boom, they're cast out. This is it. Their first real test, all alone in the middle of nowhere. Their home is no longer safe, and the real challenge is just getting started.
Okay, this is where you really see just how smart Hansel is. His first plan? Genius. He sneaks out and gathers these little pebbles that shine in the moonlight, and it works. They find their way back home. But the second time, things get desperate. He's locked in, and all he has is a crust of bread. And of course, the birds eat the breadcrumbs. And just like that, it's over. They are well and truly lost. The stakes just went through the roof.
And listen, we're not talking about a weekend camping trip here. This is a long, long time. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months. The seasons literally change from autumn to spring around them. Can you imagine that? They somehow survive hunger, the cold, and fear, which is just an incredible testament to how resilient these two kids are.
So after everything they've been through, what happens next feels like a miracle. But you know the rule in any survival story, right? If something seems way too good to be true, it's probably a trap.
Seriously, try to put yourself in their shoes. You're starving, you're exhausted, you've lost all hope, and then you stumble upon this, a house made of biscuits with a candy roof and chocolate windows. This isn't just a shelter. It's everything you've been dreaming of. It's basically salvation.
And as if that's not enough, a kind voice calls out, an old woman, offering them cake and milk, a warm place to stay. I mean, come on, she seems like the answer to all their problems, the savior they've been desperately hoping for.
Yeah, about that. The outside might look like a sweet paradise, but the inside, it's a total nightmare. Dark, dirty, absolutely terrifying. It's the ultimate bait and switch. That safe haven they thought they'd found? Nope. It's the biggest, most dangerous trap of all.
But here's an interesting little detail. Before everything goes completely wrong, they find this. A room just filled with gold and treasure. It's almost like a little hint, right? A glimpse of the prize, of what they could win, if they can somehow manage to survive what's coming next.
And now for the main event, confronting the witch. Okay, the illusion is over. The nice old lady act is done, and the real enemy finally shows her face. This is the final boss battle. Everything they have, their courage, their cleverness, is all about to be put to the ultimate test.
And there you have it. The sweet old woman reveals she's actually a wicked witch. And her plan is, well, it's horrifying. She throws Hansel in a cage to fatten him up so she can eat him. The sweet trap has officially snapped shut.
But even locked in a cage, Hansel's mind is still working. He's still a strategist. He can't fight her physically, so he fights her with his brain. Gretel brings him all this food, and he cleverly hides most of it, so he stays skinny. It's brilliant. He's not just delaying the inevitable, he's buying them precious time and driving the witch absolutely crazy with frustration.
This is the turning point. And you know what? The hero of this moment isn't Hansel. It's Gretel.
She weaponizes the witch's impatience. Her plan is brilliant in its simplicity. Play dumb. Oh, I don't know how to check the oven. Can you show me? The witch leans in, and bam! Gretel shoves her into the oven. Just like that, the quiet, fearful little sister becomes the decisive savior. What a moment.
All right, on to the final part, the return and the treasure. So the monster is defeated, they've made it through the ordeal. All that's left is to get home. But let's be real, they aren't the same scared kids who got lost in the woods. They're survivors.
So what's the first thing they do? They claim their reward. They load up on as much of that treasure as they can carry and get out of there. But you know the real price here isn't the gold, right? It's their freedom. It's their lives. As that house burns down, so does their greatest fear. They are finally safe.
And get this, look at the home they come back to. It's completely different from the one they were forced to leave. Their father is just overwhelmed with joy and relief. And the cruel stepmother? The whole reason this nightmare started? She's gone. The very house that cast them out is now at last a real safe haven.
And this line from their father just brings it all full circle. Your return is the greatest treasure. It hits you, right? Yeah, the golden jewels are great, but this is what it was all about. Family, being safe. That was the real treasure they were fighting for all along.
So that leaves us with one last big question to chew on. Who is the real villain of this story? Is it the obvious choice, the monstrous witch in her candy house? Or is it the desperate stepmother who was driven to do a monstrous thing by the very real fear of starvation? Think about it. What do you think?